Well, hello everybody. I wanted to film a quick video and talk to you guys about my biggest accomplishment for 2018. So, little background on me in case you don't know. Every January, I make like 10 to 12, maybe like 16 New Year's resolutions. I make way more than I can handle because it makes me work a little bit harder. It makes me rush things a little bit more so I get them done quicker. And I never get 100% completion, but every year I try to outdo myself just a little bit. And, I'll make business goals, I'll make family goals, self-development. And my favorite category is fitness. And this year, my biggest fitness goal was to join the 1,000 pound club. So what is the 1,000 pound club? Some of you may be asking. Well, let me tell you. In powerlifting, which is a weightlifting sport where you try to lift really heavy weights, there's 3 compound movements called the big 3. They're like the big, most important movements in the competition. Now, I'm not a competitive powerlifter, but I really wanted this imaginary title, so I decided to go for it. These big 3 movements are squatting, deadlifting, and bench pressing. So for each of these movements, you're going to have a 1 repetition max. And what that means is, what is the heaviest possible weight that you can lift with good form for 1 rep? If you add up the totals for these 3 movements, and the sum is 1,000 pounds or more, you're in the 1,000 pound club. So for example, if you have a 400 pound deadlift, a 300 pound squat, and a 300 pound bench press, that equals 1,000 pounds. So at the beginning of this year, I was at a 905 pound total. I knew I needed to add 95 pounds somehow to get into the 1,000 pound club. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, Andrew, will you ever be in the 1,000 pound club? I would have said no. Of course not. That's crazy. You have to be crazy to do that. I'm not that strong. I was never very good at squatting. I was okay at bench pressing. And to be honest, I just didn't really like deadlifting a whole lot. But after finding out that I had scoliosis in 2017 from a series of debilitating lower back injuries that left me bedridden, missing weeks of work, that was of course back when I was training clients in the gym, I knew that I had to change something because there was no reason for me to be getting injured like that. And went to see the doctor, said, yeah, you got scoliosis, your spine is bent. It's my lumbar spine, so you can't really tell by looking at it, which is why it went undiagnosed for so long. But I thought to myself, how could this be? How could I have perfect form, be following my programs to the T, and still managing to hurt myself? I'm not even lifting heavy weights. How am I going to be a trainer? How am I going to be an athlete? How am I going to do any of these things that I want to do if I'm limited by a structural deformity? None of this makes any sense, right? It distraught me for a while. But by the time January 2018 rolled around, I thought to myself, look, there's got to be a way to get around this. There's been some really, really strong people who have my condition. And, I don't want to just give up squatting. I don't want to give up being strong because of a condition that I had no control over. So I designed a program. I combined some 5-3-1 with 5x5 programming. I switched back and forth between doing heavy reps and light reps. I even had to take a 2-month break in June and July because my knees were hurting so bad from squatting the heavy weights that I had to let them recover. But it took 12 months, and I did it. I have a 425 pound deadlift, a 300 pound squat, and a 275 pound bench press. I have all the videos on my Instagram if you want to look. So what did I learn from going through this crazy, crazy long process and doing something that I never thought I would? The first thing I learned is that limiting beliefs are just complete garbage, and you should never listen to the voices in your head that are telling you you can't do something, because they're probably telling you that for the wrong reasons. A lot of us, we make our judgments and we assess a situation based on emotions, things that we're feeling. And a lot of the times those feelings come from fear, right? They come from doubt. There's a lot of survival mechanisms up here in our head. There's parts of our brain that are there to keep us alive. And if you're about to do something that's risky or even a little bit dangerous, and for me, deadlifting and squatting seemed very dangerous, your brain's going to tell you no. It's going to give you every reason it can think of to not do that, because it just wants to keep you alive. It wants to keep you safe. But the truth is, if you want to grow and if you want to get stronger, weightlifting or really anything else out there in the world, you have to take risks. You have to expose yourself to new stimulus. You have to stress your body so that it adapts. That's the only way to get stronger. You won't get stronger by lifting the same light weights. You have to go heavier. Even if it's 5 pounds at a time, like I was doing for the last 6 months. I was lucky to get 5 more pounds a month. And I kept doing it until last week when I got to 1,000 pounds. And, the limiting beliefs would have held me back if I hadn't decided that I just had enough. Enough doubt, enough of being afraid. And, as much as I thought I was bad at squatting and that I'd never be good at deadlifting, I just decided, no, I'm going to prove to myself I can be good at these things. And I did it. The second thing that I learned is to just trust the process. This is not something that can happen overnight. I have been lifting weights for 9 years. I've been powerlifting. Well, I've been following a powerlifting program only for about 13 months. I've been doing the big 3 movements, which are squatting, deadlifting, and benching, for about 5, probably 6 years. Yeah, but not rigorously in the beginning. So it took time. I had a long time between high school and college and now to build that strength foundation. And it was only for the last 12 months that I've really, really been pushing my PRs and hitting the really, really heavy weights. But it's a process. And again, whether you're pursuing weightlifting or fitness or anything else, you just have to find a process that's reliable. Find someone who knows what they're doing. Find a good source. But trust the process, and you have to stick to it. You can't take breaks. You can't deviate from the plan. You just have to do it and trust that it's going to work. And as long as you believe in yourself and you're putting in the effort and you're following the rules, it will work in the end, I promise. You just have to trust the process. And the third thing I learned is to take breaks when you need them. Like I said, I was having knee problems about halfway through my journey, and I had to take a break. And I ended up not deadlifting, not squatting for 2 months to let my knees recover, because sometimes we just work ourselves a little too hard. And it's okay to trust the process, but if you're impatient like me, if you're relentless, if you push yourself a little too hard, if you add extra things to the process, you're just going to overload yourself. And trust the process, but don't push it. And take breaks if you need it, because you're no good to anyone if you're burnt out or injured. And that's kind of like the principles that I build my coaching business on, right? When I train my clients, I always have them take breaks when they need them. And the truth is, I don't teach them how to do everything right up front, because if you're a new client who's brand new to the fitness world, you can't learn how to eat clean, how to meal prep, how to lift weights, how to do cardio, and how to train your mindset all at once, because that's just too much. It's too much all at once. Just like if you're trying to do powerlifting and bodybuilding and prep for a show at the same time, it's just too much. You'll destroy your body. So my coaching program is kind of built on that principle. We do things one at a time, step by step, because that's the only real way to learn anything. And this process of getting into the 1,000 pound club was step by step for me. It was one thing at a time, one lift at a time, one rep at a time sometimes. And, just be patient with the process. So really think about your limiting beliefs. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And do I feel this way for a good reason, or am I just scared? Is my primal ancient brain scared of me hurting myself, right? Find a good, reliable process and trust it and stick to it. And don't push yourself too hard. Give yourself breaks when you need them. And, I'm telling you, if I can do this, you can pull off whatever it is you're trying to do in your life. So anyways, I hope you guys took something from that. That's just my take on everything that's happened in the last 12 months. And now that I finally have my 1,000 pound club card, I am done powerlifting for a while. I am now moving on to a fat burning routine, because I did gain 27 pounds this year. I calculated using some formulas that about 6 to 7 pounds of that was fat. So that needs to come off. But that's what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. And I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop and let you know what I do next. So anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you all took something from this. I love you all. We will talk very soon.